maybe it's a.
There we are.
All right.
Hi,
Hi.
Stefan.
How are you, ladies?
Excellent.
We're good.
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 To hear it.
Welcome.
Thank you.
It's good to see you. Thank you so much for doing this. That's really sweet of you.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. Both of you guys have been so nice and so helpful during this. I greatly appreciate it. So anything I can do to help.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Stefan.
You're welcome.
I thought what I'd do to start off with is just bring up your proof sheet, and that way we can refer back to it while we're talking about our questions.
Okay.
So I'm gonna share our screens.
Great, Stefan. You did a wonderful job. I'll just jump in here real quick while she's sharing the screen, just saying how wonderful all the photos were. It gave us so much to work with. And, you know, truly we see your commitment to each of the character choices that you made during your photo session. So good job.
Well, that was, thank you. But I absolutely attribute that to Kelsey just, you know, number one, obviously making me feel comfortable. And then number two, we had fun. I had fun.
Oh, we had a lot of fun. Yeah, I didn't want him to leave.
You can tell. I mean,
Yeah.
Kelsey is very generous. You know, I know she'll work with, that's why I love sending talent to her, but I also feel like she does really help you feel comfortable. Therefore you can get, most out of your photo shoot, and giving us a lot more options to choose from.
I think having authentic conversation about things that mean something lend themselves to authentic expression. And that's just how I shoot. And Stefan was a great example of that, because we got so many choices, and he did both acting headshots and print model shots. So I thought you should be able to see on the screen the different images.
Yeah.
So let's start some Q&As. Do you want to start off, Stefan?
Yeah, actually, this is just a small sampling of it. And so from an actor's perspective, when you get so many choices, where do you begin?
That's a good question. So what I tell my actors is that when you get your headshots, I'll already have gone through them and done the 3 Bs, which are, we eliminate the blinks, blurs, and bad expressions. And then we also eliminate the duplicates. So when you get, for actors' headshots, usually it's about 100. It can be overwhelming. So what we usually do is tell people to separate the smiles from the serious from the character. And that way you can focus just on commercial headshots. And that's a joyful, authentic smile, always with teeth. And then your theatrical headshot, which is intense, but not necessarily angry, just an intense, more serious shot for film and television. And then your character shot, that's usually something that's uniquely you. It's the way you wrinkle your nose, or the way you raise your eyebrow, or the way you have a smirk, or the way you just have a beautiful laugh, which in that case was you. And we caught kind of a fun, a little bit over the top commercial character shot of you laughing, which you'll see coming up, but that'll help narrow it down.
Okay.
Yeah, it could be a little overwhelming. And even what I tell people, it's always going to be harder for you to choose your own photos versus having a professional help you. But, ultimately we are looking for that authenticity that Kelsey talked about, but also having, the different ranges of characters within each headshot, so that we can settle in on, good dramatic, a good commercial, and some character looks for you.
Okay. Yeah, that's fantastic to know, because that actually kind of leads to that next question of not having that experience that you both possess. For an actor, when you're looking at this and this myriad of choices, do you have to sort of take yourself out of this and pretend that you're someone else? Do I pick what I think looks the best?
To start with, I encourage people to pick out their top 20 or 30 and send them to me. If they don't have an agent, then send them to me, and I'll look through their favorites and the gallery in general to help select the top ones. With an agent, they usually have a pretty strong idea of how they want to represent you, and that's usually makes your decision easier. But with your shot, Stefan, what we did is we isolated with your help, of course, the top 20 or so favorites. And then when I got them, I actually called Sally and said, hey, will you help me with these? Because I love so many of them. And I want to make sure we're on the same page for your market. And so, Sal, do you want to talk a little bit about these first two shots that are on the screen?
Yeah, and just to kind of tag into what you were mentioning, like it's hard for you to pick out your own photos. So yeah, if you don't have an agent or a manager, it's always best to go to somebody like first Kelsey's choice and then somebody that you're working with like myself, so that I can know what would be best serve you in this market as well, right? So so that's why I'm really grateful that you're on this call, so we can demonstrate what that's like. So obviously Kelsey's narrowed down, from the gallery, she's narrowed down, the ones that we have in the favorites. So we're looking at the gallery right now. If you can see on the left side of the top of the screen,
Right here.
Yeah, and then when she clicks on the favorites, that's when you're going to be able to say, okay, at least these are narrowed down a little bit. So, so yeah, the reason we were looking at your commercial headshot and narrowed down to 2 different looks is because her and I were both struggling with this, because we really love the one in the burgundy. I believe is it number 39? Yeah, right there, or 54.
54.
So the burgundy really possesses this great warmth, and for commercials and or comedic or lighthearted films, this is a wonderful shot that I can see you playing many different roles, from the father to the professional. I mean, it's a generically great, useful photo for a light piece or comedic or a daily piece. Whereas the one next to it, the first one here, the real colorful blue background and the pink shirt, it's really bright. That would be great for any commercial print, because both of these serve you really well. Show really nice genuine energy. It doesn't look like you're posing for the photo. It looks like you're generally looking at somebody you care about and smiling or having an engaging conversation. So
Yeah,
that lends itself to believability, that you're comfortable in front of the camera. But the 2 purposes that we have here is commercial print for the first one, and or if you really want a great thumbnail, which I know we're going to talk about in a bit, that's also a great one. So those are the 2 commercial photos that we finalized on for you.
Okay. Go ahead, Kelsey.
Stefan, then I was just going to say this, in addition to the commercial, we finalized on this one of 154 for your theatrical. And that one, again, it's very authentic. You could be professor, attorney, doctor. I like the glasses in there. I love the expression. I love the energy.
Yeah, very powerful. You're saying a lot there, but I always tell Kelsey, like when we're talking about photos we like, is what's behind the eyes. It's the character, right? You really brought some depth to this character. I could see him as being a very stoic attorney, a doctor. I mean, this is for more of a dramatic role, but very, very much a overall purpose for this one look.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That says a lot. Thank you. Now, I noticed there are a few waist up shots.
Yeah.
What do you do with those?
So I generally, when I'm shooting a headshot session, always shoot a 3/4 from the waist up, just so that the client or the casting director or the agent can get a sense of you and your body. And we used to use them more in place of headshots, but now I think in addition to a headshot, it can be very helpful. It's like it's like the slate that they have out now too, which is just a quick video of you saying your name, and that can be really helpful for the casting directors to hear how you talk, and just that quick voice bite, sound bite of you can be a really good way of letting people know without actually meeting you in person, which is happening more and more and more.
Yeah, and the 3/4 shots, you probably already see that coming through. People are requesting to see a full body shot of you. It's just to manage and see, are your height, weight proportionate. They just don't want any surprises. A lot of castings are happening now where we're booking off of self tapes and direct booking. So that definitely helps serve that visual for the many people that are in a part of the decision making.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah.
Now, I noticed there's, at least from the onset, one of the things that kind of got to me was the number of colors, the light, the different lighting, and Kelsey, you did such a fabulous job. It
Mhm.
there and working me through the expressions.
Mhm.
Should I worry about that during the selection process?
Yeah. What I do is I tell people to look at, yeah, definitely expression, like we've been talking about, and pose, just to make sure that you look comfortable in the headshot or the print look. But in terms of your cropping and the color, that can usually be corrected. We do a general crop and color correct for all the shots, but that's 100 plus shots. In your case, over 200 because you did the print part of the shoot as well. So I tell people, look at expression and just your composition, and then we'll tweak the crop and the color once we decide on that image, because everything that we give you will adjust beautifully for the final product.
Okay, all right. Now, Sally, does it make a difference for the casting agent as far as those things? Does that play into the
Yeah,
selection process
I
at
do.
all?
Thank you. I do think that that's important to think about when you're selecting a dramatic role, for example, a dramatic headshot. Um, because when you submit your photos, you should submit based on what the genre of the, for example, if it's a film and it's dramatic, you should not be sending a big smiley, colorful shot. You should go more of the darker. So Kelsey, if you land like on his professional look there with the suit, even though that's not super dark, it still has a darker color tone. It's not that like that bright green almost right next to it. So you always want to think in terms of, having one dramatic look that has a serious look, but a darker color scheme and contrast. And then more of like, even with this burgundy, it's a warmth. So it's not necessarily, is it a dark color or bright color, but it's the warmth that burgundy brings to you with that nice warm smile. So when I'm looking for you as a candidate for casting a kind of a upbeat dad type of look, I might be, generally leaning towards that. However, if I'm casting for a commercial print and we know vibrant colors and brightness really sells in like a website or a billboard, then the one next to that with the blue background and the pink shirt works. So you should always kind of be cognizant about when you settle in on your selections on what the end result is and how you're going to use it to promote yourself.
Okay, all right.
Sal, if I might say, let's just look at, so that last selection for a headshot, the commercial character shot, we settled with a fun one that was a little bit over the top. Mess up his hair, big open smile, bright color. And that will be a very specific casting, right?
Very character, yes. So Stefan, I know this one wasn't your favorite. Outside the box a little bit. But as actors, that's what you do. You get outside the box. You want to be able to represent a wide range and meeting different genres. And let's face it, when I was casting an over-the-top farce comedy, and I was getting submissions that were like headshots of dramatic, serious ones, they were missing the beat. If you sent something like this in, you would have got my attention, because that's exactly what we were casting for, is zany, crazy, fun type of a genre for this film. So yeah, that's why it does help for you to consult, professionals, so we can help guide you on what's possible. And that photo, I love it so much. It got my attention.
Yeah, I love it too.
Job is to get her attention.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I was a little hesitant at first when Kelsey was like, well, okay, let's do the hair. And I was like, ah!
That's total trust. That's what trust looks like.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Kelsey?
So I was just gonna, once we've done those 3 headshots, when you set them up for your name and your border, we just do I'm just gonna go into a little bit of the retouching of those images that we selected. So I pulled into your online proof sheet the ones that we had gone in and enhanced just a smidge. And so we've done the commercial print one, and we've done the one with the burgundy but mock turtleneck with the zipper. And then when I got to the one with you for your over-the-top commercial, I actually pulled it up, and the smile, just because I caught you in such a high energy shot, was so big that I preferred to just do a little retouch on your smile. And I brought the lip up just a little.
Yeah.
And then it just makes it even more captivating, I think, with just a little tweaking, which is what we can do when people ask, well, what do you do in enhancements? So, well, I just kind of look at the shot and I assess what it needs. And usually it's very little, but in this particular case, I liked
big difference.
the difference. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're in casting, we're looking at a headshot literally like seconds or a second or two. And so what I want to see, I love the choice you made here, Kelsey, because what I want to see is his jovial eyes just dancing in this picture, and his smile right along with it.
It's a great expression. That's exactly an accurate description of Stefan.
Yeah, and that small adjustment of touching up his smile makes me not look any closer to his teeth. That's not what's important. It's the actual smile, and I think that was a great choice.
So that's kind of a fun thing to show, just the final product there. I'm going to save these full lengths and 3/4 from your print part for another session with you, Stefan. Okay. But just to kind of wrap up, once you have your top 3, Sally, can you speak a little bit about the casting sites and what you'll do besides the top 3 headshots?
Yeah, so when you have various platforms that you can register and put your headshots, and then they welcome multiple headshots, you can upload as many as you have. I would always use your top ones that she's touched up for you and finished as your main landing ones. And then any other of these looks can also go on those platforms. So for example, like casting networks, you can do as many headshots as you want. And so you just want to place them, upload the ones that we've touched up and you polished in the first 3 to 7, to 7 placeholders. And then anything after that's fine. I mean, honestly, if we're looking at more than the first couple, then that's where you want to have, again, diversity. You're kind of like telling the story a little bit about Stefan and all the possible ranges you can play. So each platform has a different amount of photos they allow you to add, but you have so many here, you can definitely populate a lot of these here. And it just helps us to see all your range.
So Sally, with platforms like SF Casting and LA Casting.
Yeah, so Casting Networks is LA Casting and SF Casting. And then you also have Actors Access, which is for us, we in the back site, it's different, it's called a different platform, but for Actors Access, Backstage.com, SF Casting, SAC Casting even has one. We're going to be releasing a new database here in the next, as soon as we get out of this weird time right now. But so yeah, anytime you have a platform that you're marketing yourself on, that is definitely the next step for you to get these out there and let people know where you are and how to book you.
Cool. So perhaps that's where you and Stefan can go, Sally, with the next step to taking these images once they're ready, and the other set that we have has his name on them, and getting the resume ready and the next plan of attack.
That's right. So I do offer a consult if needed, Stefan, or I think this is really going to help you at least get to that next level. So at this point, usually when Kelsey sends you the link, then the talent either sends me the link or Kelsey asks me to chime in as well. Once you have those photos, you just make sure your resume is ready, your training's ready, and you start marketing yourself. So you're ready to go, buddy. Good job.
Yeah. Thank you, Stefan.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Do you have any other questions for us, sir?
Yeah, I think I touched on this earlier. The one thing that I don't know if everyone does this as far as photographers and casting agents, but I want to say thank you two for being so phenomenal at of being real people and it not being this exchange. So I guess that's a question. How do especially novice actors such as myself go about finding people that are supportive, that it feels like they're really vested in trying to help you succeed?
Well, I'll jump in, Kelsey, if you don't mind. I just want to say, Kelsey and I have been very fortunate to have found one another over 20 years ago, and because of that statement right there, is she's genuine, she's authentic, she's a real person who actually cares about everybody's experience, and so I really value that in you, Kelsey. It's definitely a gift. But having a mentor, Stefan, and having a coach, usually they can guide you to opening more doors for you, just like that. So I do offer those private coaching sessions for that reason. But I feel like you're on the right track, and you're a very talented guy. I had the opportunity of working with you in a class, and you're very talented, and you're going to have a great career. So you're definitely already on your way, sir.
Yeah. Stefan, listen to your heart and you'll find those people.
That's great. Good advice.
Well, thank you, ladies, again. I guess, did we touch on the question of thumbnails? I think we brought it up earlier, but could we take a few seconds to
yeah.
what is the thumbnail and what's it for?
So in a platform like SF Casting or LA Casting, when we're looking at the initial submissions from all the talent, it shows up in a little photo. So it's like a thumbnail that that's what Kelsey was kind of really trying to hit on with these colors, is making you pop more. So when you're uploading a photo and then you go back and look at kind of like proof your profile, you'll be able to see which one's in the primary position. That's going to be the thumbnail that we see, and that's going to make me click. So that's why whenever you're uploading to a platform, that pink shirt and blue background is perfect for that, so it really stops me in my tracks and gets my eye to stop and look a little closer, because we're seeing so many people, so many submissions. And so those thumbnails just really going to be the placeholder, but it's really small. And so you want a brighter, vibrant color when you're making your selections.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, I guess one of the last two, if that's all right.
Sure.
There are so many good choices to pick. Can you only choose 3 photos?
You know what, Stefan? We recommend 3 strong photos: the commercial, theatrical, and the character. But then in addition, I think it is a good idea to have a few more that you can have on the LA Casting, SF Casting sites, and also just to have in your back pocket in case there's a specific type of casting that comes up that requires a different look.
If I could chime in, I would say I agree with that, and it never hurts. I mean, I know Kelsey provides an opportunity for you to have a jump drive where you can own all of these.
Yeah.
But what I would do is, once you get them and you've determined this is my commercial bright copy, save it on your computer as such, so that when you're ready to submit, and you only can submit 1 or 2. This is my dramatic doctor or professional look. This is my character bright color. And so saving it so you know how to, and you can always rename it in a different file, but at least that way you're uploading the right ones for the right job. So many people just send me whatever they have on their phone or whatever, and then I end up finding like it wasn't maybe their best choice for that submission. But save it on your computer or your phone so you know which one you want to send out to that particular.
Yeah, Stefan, have like 8 different shots with a very short description of what you think they would be good to send out on submissions, besides the 3 generic ones that you have.
Okay.
And then revisit your proof sheets in a couple months, because you'll see things there that you haven't seen before, that you'll be like, wow, this is a pretty good shot for a doctor. This is a pretty good shot for. Yeah,
especially as you start seeing the different types of jobs you are being called up on. You're being requested to be seen. That tells you, it starts dictating for you what your niche is, and I think you play a nice range, but you'll start seeing in the castings that you submit to which ones are getting the bites and what headshots you're using. So it's a little bit of analytics there, but it definitely will pay off in the long run to pay attention to that.
Okay. All right.
Cool.
Well, you touched on something, so I'm curious, how frequently should I update, or an actor update their headshots and their portfolio?
I mean, honestly, as much as your look changes. I mean, when you start growing out your bangs, then you'll want to do new. But honestly, as much as your look changes. So at minimum, every 1.5 to 2 years. But if you do decide to shave the facial hair or something like that, you'll want to make sure you always have a headshot that looks like you currently.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So once I have my main 3 to 7, then I work. What do? I go.
You're gonna get out there on those platforms and start uploading those photos.
All right.
So SF Casting, SAC Casting here in Sacramento, LA Casting, whatever platforms you want, and then Backstage, Actors Access. So yeah, that's where a consultation might come in handy, Stefan. If you need any more help, I'm here to help you. But yeah, I think you're ready to start uploading, sir, and get those out there.
All right.
You got this.
Look forward to a call, Sally.
All right.
Okay. Thank you too.
Thank you guys. Have a great day.
Thank you, Kelsey.
Thank you,
Thank
Stephanie.
you, Sally.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
You too.